one mission: to expose the truth about UFOs.
Figure out how to get to the bottom of it.
Get your government to do what it's supposed to do and find out what this is. Wake up. This is real. Wake up. How does the story end?
I have no idea who it was or what it was. Maybe it's Elon Musk or somebody out there coming up with some, disruptive technology that's gonna change our lives like an iPhone. I hope it ends peacefully.
You have to ask yourself, is it ET or is it Independence Day? What's the intent? And right now, we don't know.
Carl Sagan once famously said about UFOs, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. He was absolutely right. But now we have the proof. The question now is, will people look at the evidence and are they able to process it?
I'm not a conspiracist, and I've never believed in aliens visiting our planet or UFOs, but it is hard to refute the current evidence.
The Pentagon recently admitted that it really has been secretly studying UFOs, and then it wanted to figure out and duplicate that technology.
The Air Force launched Project Blue Book in 1952, when a rash of UFO sightings put the nation on edge. On November 14, 2004, this pilot took off from the deck of the Nimitz as the wingman to a second jet, flown by her squadron commander.
We had launched to perform a practice fight against each other to rehearse our maneuvers.
Normally, fighter pilots are directed by a radar plane known as a Hawkeye.
99, take overhead, Mother Angel 7.
But the two FA-18 Super Hornets are suddenly redirected by controllers on the USS Princeton.
We were interrupted by a shipborne controller. Their tone was urgent. This is not an exercise, this is a real-world intercept.
With no information about their target, as the two jets arrive at the designated location, they're confused.
My heart sank. There was something in the water. There was a churning. Do you see, in the water, what the is that? It looked like a giant Tic Tac.
Give me a rough size.
Maybe 40 feet.
Okay.
I was the commanding officer. We're looking, we don't see anything on our radars at all. And we're talking to each other trying to figure this out. I really wanted to see what it was. I mean, if I could have joined right up on it and, got like Blue Angel close, then I probably would have done that.
As Fravor attempted to get a closer look, his wingman watched from above.
It's white, it has no wings, it has no rotors. I go, holy, what is that? And he goes, I don't know.
At first, the strange craft stays close to the surface, moving unlike anything the pilots had ever seen.
This thing would go instantaneous from one way to another, similar to if you threw a ping pong ball against a wall. And we start to kind of orbit, because now we're going to watch this thing. We start a right-hand turn, and we're going from a clock code. The object is in the middle of the clock, and we're at 6 o'clock, and we're driving around the circle. So we get to about 9 o'clock, and it's just still doing its little erratic thing, kind of moving around this disturbance in the water. And I go, hey, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go down there. As we're coming down nice and easy, we get to about the 12 o'clock position, and all of a sudden it goes, boop, and it kind of turns, and now it's mirroring us, and it starts coming up. And we're like, okay, now it knows we're here.
It seemed to be aware, and it seems to recognize him.
It goes from basically just almost a hover into a pretty aggressive climb up to our altitude, so there's a bit of fear because now you're out there dealing with something that you have no idea what it is. It's actually reacting to what we're doing. I'm kind of pulling nose, to where he's going to be, and he's coming up. He just rapidly accelerates beyond anything that I've ever seen. Crosses my nose, and it's gone. And I'm like, whoa.
The Tic Tac appears to have vanished. But as the jets streak towards a prearranged rendezvous location, known as the Cap Point, the radio chatter becomes frantic.
The controller from the Princeton comes up right as we're doing all this and says, hey, sir, you're not going to believe this. He goes, but that thing is at your Cap Point.
According to Fravor, the Tic Tac accelerated from a standing position and flew approximately 60 miles in under a minute, as fast as 3,700 miles an hour. How did the Tic Tac know the pilot's Cap Point? And how did it accelerate so quickly?
The next crew is getting ready. So we're talking to them about this, and they're like, you gotta be kidding.
They took us seriously, and the Wizzo, the guy in the back seat, said, I'm gonna go find it.
It jammed the radar, but he got a lock on it, and that's the video that you see. If that doesn't weird you out, I don't know what does. What was this? There was a capability out there, don't know where it's from, not saying it's from outer space, but not saying it's from here either. We're all amazed at how fast this thing just took off and disappeared.
Instantaneous acceleration at this rate would produce a force of gravity, or G-force, so extreme it would crush a human being.
If there are vehicles out there, aircraft that are doing things aerodynamically that we've never even thought of, then I think we potentially could have real trouble down the road.
Kevin Day was the chief radar specialist on the USS Princeton.
From beginning to end, tell me your story.
Right around the evening of the 10th of November, all these contacts were popping up in my radar coverage right off Catalina Island up by Los Angeles. At first, there was like 10 or 12 objects. Watching them on display was like watching the snowfall in the sky.
Day says the ship's system tracked the unidentified objects dropping down from the upper atmosphere and then flying south in what appeared to be an organized formation at an altitude of 28,000 feet.
The relative position didn't change from each other. They were going real slow, 28,000 feet at 100 knots, which is extremely weird. Usually things that high don't travel that slowly because they'll fall out of the sky. There was well over 100 contacts.
According to Kevin Day, an entire fleet of UFOs was flying unimpeded through the Navy's exercise warning area.
I was just chomping at the bit. I just wanted to intercept these things. So the captain comes down to combat, and I said, sir, I think we should intercept these things. I reached out and I hooked one of them on the large screen display, but all of a sudden this object drops 28,000 feet down to the surface of the ocean, and I figured it out later as a 0.78 seconds.
If Kevin Day's calculations are correct, the object he saw would have been moving at the astounding speed of 24,000 miles per hour, over 30 times the speed of sound.
So the captain said, yeah, let's intercept one, and I was like, hell yeah. We grabbed one of the flights that was doing a check flight off the carrier. It just happened to be Commander Fravor's flight. And all of a sudden, over radio we hear, oh my God, I'm engaged, I'm engaged.
The Tic Tac escaped the fighter jets, climbing with an extraordinary burst of acceleration.
Right back up to 28,000 feet. And all these other intercepts were happening. And before I knew it, I had these objects raining out of the sky. Choo, 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 choo. It was raining UFOs. Every time these things would get in the visual arena, they would fall out of the sky. Wait till the interceptor had left and they'd pop right back up to 28,000 feet, right back where they were, and continue going 100 knots. It was as if they wanted to be left alone. These things were going somewhere. They fell off my radar envelope down off the coast of Baja, California.
Okay.
There's a little group of islands down off the coast, and right there they disappeared.
Kevin Day adds a layer of expertise that we didn't have before. With those electronic eyes, Kevin Day can see things that the naked eye cannot.
You know, I was looking around, I was like, you know, all the years, all the money, and all the expertise, and all the talent, everyone around me in this whole strike group, and there's nothing we can do. If these things are hostile, then we're screwed. I'm telling you, it was the most humbling experience of my life.
One of the jets was able to capture this video that would go on to make headlines around the world.
It was so unnerving because it was so unpredictable. High G, rapid velocity, rapid acceleration. So you're wondering, you know, how can I possibly fight this?
What's worst case scenario?
Well,
Have you thought about it?
I would tell you already, it's too late, because it's here. So we have a choice. We can live with our heads buried in the sand and hope it goes away, or we can take our head out of the sand and try to figure out how it works. But it doesn't really care what we think in this room, because it's here.
I think the public is closer to understanding the UFO mystery than at any time in my lifetime. It's astonishing. And yeah, it's a little bit scary.
We believe that investigating and communicating the subject can help pull people of all nations together.